Hey, so I wanted just to talk to you a little bit about the new moon that happens on April 26th, which is next Wednesday, and the messages that I'm getting for this time period. So it's an interesting time. The moon is, of course, feminine, and the moon represents intuition, always. Intuition, always feminine. And the moon being feminine and being about intuition means that we have to use her energy to shed light on what's happening inside of us. So the sun being masculine represents the outside world and how we go about things, what we do, what we think with our rational minds. And the moon represents the feminine self. Now, when the moon is new, it means that she's rising in the sign that the sun is occupying. So the moon is always new when it's in the same sign as the sun, right? So the sun is just entering the sign of Taurus. Now, the sun was in the sign of Aries, which is about having leadership, masculinity, authority. And the sun itself is authority. So when the sun was in Aries, we were working as a collective. We were working on our sense of authority, what it means to us, and it shows up in so many different ways. So I'm going to keep things a little general right now. However, the sun is just now shifting into the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a sign, it's an earth sign, and it represents being really good or being really well connected in your physical body. There's a great opportunity with Taurus to experience the world through your senses. So even though you may not be a Taurus, when the sun, for all of us, as the sun transits these different signs, that is our opportunity to work on that aspect of ourselves. So you might be a Taurus, or you might be a Libra or a Virgo or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. Taurus, wherever the sun is, there's a feeling of you being a little bit like that particular sign. This is a good thing because you're not a one-dimensional being, and your astrological chart is made up of all the planets, all the signs, all the asteroids, all the whatever, all the moons, whatever. You're made up of all these different things. So when the sun shines on Taurus, everyone is given the opportunity to examine their income, because this is what Taurus rules, things of a material world. So it's an earth sign and it rules material things. So material well-being, how you show up in your body, what you own, what you possess, how you value yourself, self-worth. It rules beauty, love, and money. That's an easy way to look at it. Taurus is also super creative. Um, they are energetic and exuberant. They love being in groups, even though they tend to be more of a behind the scenes person at work. They're not necessarily the person that you would have in the front of the public eye for the business, though they can be, absolutely. But because they are very organized, very they're really good workers. So Tauruses tend to do like really a great job behind the scenes. and they like being behind the scenes. They are people who shine very brightly, but they like to shine at play. And they like to shine at work as well, but they like to shine in their own way. And their own way is not like, like Leo that likes to be seen. And it's not to say that Tauruses don't like attention. You think about all the amazing Taurus performers, actors, and singers. They are amazing. Audrey Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn, great. These two women of this era that were amazing, right? Um, anyway, there are a bunch of Taurus women actresses and actors. Jack Nicholson is a Taurus. So anyway, all of this is to say, these are some really talented people and they are some lovable people. So right now, while the sun is in Taurus, it's springtime and there's maybe more energy that you're feeling in expressing yourself outwardly. Now, that's fantastic. You want to take advantage and you really want to focus on all those Taurian things that you can do in the outer world. However, with the moon, we want to take advantage because the moon will be new in Taurus next week, which means that we're going to take that beautiful energy of the Taurus, that beautiful grounding of the Taurus, and we're going to bring it inside ourselves. And we're going to think about filling ourselves up with all the things that are super important around the Taurian nature. So that instinct for beauty, for wealth, and for love, we want to shine that inside. So when we think about shining, going inside and looking for money, wealth, love, and beauty, how do we find that? Well, what I would like to suggest is that self-love is the starting point for everything right now. Venus is in Pisces. She was retrograde, but now she's not. She's now direct, and she's still transiting Pisces through the end of May. I wrote an article about Venus in Pisces on my blog, so check it out if you haven't read it yet. It's a good article, and it's a very, very powerful aspect. You totally want to be taking advantage of it. So with Venus in Pisces and the new moon in Taurus, Venus is there's a lot going on here. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm starting to realize what's happening. Venus is in Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces, which means she loves being in Pisces. Venus is the planet of beauty and love and money. And Pisces is the sign of romantic feelings, open-heartedness, sensuality, unity. It's the sign. It's the sign of love. Yeah, and with Venus in this area, in this sign, she's really happy. So Taurus, the sun is in Taurus, and the moon is in Taurus. So there's all this kind of movement of our power outwardly and inwardly. So we want to take that spotlight on love and we want to definitely bring that inside and start thinking about ourselves in terms of our heart, what we feel, what we desire, and most importantly, how we love. Now, of course, I want you to look at how you love everybody else, but that's an outward expression. The most important thing I want you to do during this moon cycle is to shine the light of love on the inside and to look at how you're loving yourself. What are you doing to show you that you love you? For me, for example, I normally look at myself and I always think about what needs improvement. There's certain things that I like about myself and I always look at those things and I always think, oh, that's so nice, Like, I like my own smile. It's ridiculous. I like my own smile, but it's mine, it's mine. And I'll be looking in the mirror and I'll wake up in the morning, and I'm like, like, oh, my face is swollen from sleeping on this side and my hair is matted on one side and something will make me laugh and I'll smile and I'll be like, there she is. That's my girl right there. So what we want to do though, because, while we're looking at the things that we love about ourselves, there's so many things that we don't love. And what we want to do during this time period is kind of take that critical nature and relax that. And instead of rejecting or being in resistance to who we are, let's try, because, and this is interesting actually, Taurus is about resistance. Taurus is the sign of the bull, and the energy is to be stubborn, to get rooted in, to dig in, to settle in, right? This is maybe one of the more negative aspects of Taurus. Well, there's an opportunity for us to heal that, right? So the way we heal anything is with love, unconditional love. So if there's an aspect of Taurus that wants to resist, that wants to push against, let's try relaxing that right now and instead practicing unconditional love and the divine feminine principle of allowance. So this principle of allowance is about not being passive, but rather ruling from the inside out. So our open hearts, our hearts are a wonderful opportunity for us to feel and to intuit rather than to think. So the thinking process is considered a masculine process, and a lot of women take a masculine approach. We've been taught to really get into our heads, and a lot of men are taught to be in their heads. Men, even though thinking is a masculine thing, it doesn't mean that all men only think. No, men are super, super sensitive. Way, way more sensitive than we give them credit for. Women are way too quick to write off men and say, oh, men are really simple. All you do is, I'm like, no, you don't. Don't disregard a man, and don't discredit men like they don't have big open hearts and sensuality and deep, deep feelings. They absolutely do. So our tendency in society is to think and to be very masculine. We say that if you don't understand something, then you feel like you don't have control over it. Well, with the moon, we want to come into that sensual, feeling, intuitive nature where we do things and we feel things that don't really make sense. Like you can sit in a room, and if you just sit in the room right now and you tune in, you might feel the hairs rise up on your arms because you're feeling the energy that's in the room around you. It's an amazing thing to do. It's an amazing thing to experience. But the mind don't like that, because the mind in its current form can't necessarily make sense of why you feel someone in the room with you. You can't make sense of it, so you don't know the science of it, so you shut it down. We want to stop that right now. We want to take back our feeling nature. And while we have the sun in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus, we want to really slow down and feel our way through, enjoy the sensuality that is heightened because the moon and the sun are in Taurus, because Venus is in Pisces. We have a heightened sense of sexuality, of power, of feeling, of imagination, of creativity, of visioning, of imagining. This is a wonderful time. This is a wonderful time to recognize pregnancy within yourself. And I mean being pregnant either with a baby. It's a wonderful time to be getting pregnant, right? These are wonderful aspects for pregnancy and for giving birth. But also, that's physical babies, but also giving birth to your ideas, you know. For those of us who are beyond the years of having babies, or maybe, you know, maybe you're not even interested in being a mother. However, you're interested in owning a business, or you're interested in writing a book, or you're interested in building a home, or you're interested in whatever you're interested in. Now is the time for you to really sink into your feeling nature and to create for yourself a space to say yes to your divine feminine. Again, Taurus is a feminine sign. The moon is a feminine entity. The Venus is feminine. Pisces is feminine. All this femininity wants to come forward and wants to love us. The goddess wants to shower us with her gifts. So what I want to encourage you to do over the next several days, and with the new moon energy, it's important to remember that you start feeling it 3 days before. So if you're wise, you'll start working around the 23rd of May, so that you can actually start kind of tuning in and letting go, getting out of your head and into your heart, letting yourself feel your way, doing things to feed your femininity, to feed your sensuality, slowing down, a lot of meditation, dance, movement that is without necessarily a form. Like, you know, going to dance class is really great, but dance class, they kind of tell you what to do in a lot of dance classes. Instead of doing dance class, maybe dance and move in your room, you know, in your space, in your house. Spending time with your animals right now, that's going to help to get you out of your mind and get you into your body. It's going to help you relax. So doing things that will help you feel sensual and beautiful, and relaxing the restrictions that you have, those judgments that you have about yourself that say you're not adequate, you're not good enough, you didn't do enough, you blah blah blah, whatever it is that you are saying to yourself that's, like, you know, taking away from your creativity, it's stifling you. Stop saying it, please. At least for 3 days. 3 days before the moon, stop saying, you know, how inadequate you are. And so doing those kinds of practices before the moon. And then when the new moon rises, again, it's on April 26th, and it rises at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like 2:16 here in Central Europe. And that means that in New York, I think it rises at like 8:16. Okay, I am not remembering the numbers. You don't need to know what time it rises anyway, unless you really want to get accurate with it and you want to go and, I don't know, do a moon dance, you know, at the exact time the moon rises. You don't have to do that though. You got 3 days before, and you have a whole week after. So you really have a 10-day period where you get to take advantage of this. And it may not be a bad idea. Maybe I can challenge you all to do a 10-day new moon self-love challenge. Ah, yeah, I love that. I'm totally all about that right now. Okay, so I need to get to work. But keep your eyes open for the new moon self-love challenge. And if you want to participate, I want you to sign up for my astrology newsletter. I'm going to put a link and you can sign up, and I'm going to email that, and that's what I'll be working on tomorrow. So the 23rd, I think, is Sunday. So I need to have everything typed up and ready to go by Sunday, but I'm going to give you some guidelines. Maybe I'll make another video, but there'll be some writings, and I'll just send over a few things for you. It'll be like a self-love 10-day new moon in Taurus self-love challenge. That's what it's going to be about. And I'm having some girls over to my house on Tuesday, and I'm going to write a meditation for us to do. So I will record the meditation and share it with you so you can do the meditation too. And I'm pretty excited about it. I just love the potential of what's going on right now. Like, the energy is really high, and it's all about love and giving ourselves the love that we need. This new moon in Taurus is really a big heart opener. So let's do that. And I'm going to I feel excited. So I'm going to go take some notes and get started. And again, sign up for the newsletter and you'll get everything delivered to your inbox. All right? Signing off for now. Bye, friends. Bye.